A lot of companies try to change their culture. They want to walk through a kind of cultural transformation. We see that this everywhere. We see companies who try to change their leadership culture. They want to be less bossy, have more coaching, or companies want to overcome their silos and want to encourage their people for more cross-functional, cross-hierarchical collaboration. Companies want to implement more trust and respect and things like this, or more customer centricity, want to improve their capability of being innovative. So this is pretty much about culture and changing the values. So here is the interesting question: how do you do this? And my understanding really is that you do not change culture by changing the culture. That's a fundamental insight. Why do I say this? It's because, what you see too often is that as the executive board or as the group of managers, you do a workshop somewhere in a nice hotel or somewhere, and you create new values. You define how you want to be in the future, what's going to be important in the future, and then you come up with things like all these things that I just have mentioned. And what you do then is you communicate those values to the people and say, hey, look, this is our new culture. This is what in the future will be important. So this is theory A. This is what I indicate here as theory A. You communicate the new culture. And you think that once the people really have understood the new culture, the new values, they will behave accordingly. When the managers understand that trust is good, then they will trust their people. Once the people really have understood that cross-functional collaboration is important, then they will do so. They won't, because in those cases you do not touch the structure, and that's a big mistake. So just changing the culture by changing and communicating the culture probably is not enough. What the people will look at is how things really are. When you preach trust, for instance, but at the same time people have no flexible work arrangements maybe, or they have to get approval for any tiny business travel, then you have a problem. The people will really look at what is reality, and they look at the structure, how things are formally regulated. That's the proof. So let's look at theory B. And I deeply believe in this. If you want to change culture, you have to change the structure. Really, you have to change the hardware, the way you do things. You have to change the rules. Really, you can do this with the people together. You can involve the people in reshaping the structure, but you have to start with the structure. And once the structure is changed, the behavior will change. And when the behavior will change, the culture will change. There is a long-lasting debate in psychology, especially in social psychology, whether attitude determines behavior or whether behavior determines attitude. Today we know that the former one is true. Behavior determines attitude. So if you change the behavior of people through structure, culture will follow.